Hello, pocket knife community, knife lovers, knife enthusiasts, interested viewers. Folder here. I have to admit, when I first started um, collecting knives, I I sort of looked down on frame locks, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. I mean, frame locks have been around for a long time. Frame locks are amazing. I know that now more than ever. Um, Created in the late 1980s by Chris Reeves. Basically, it was created because they wanted to make a stronger liner lock, right? A way in which the entire frame was incorporated into the knife and the locking mechanism. Um, but one of the inherent problems with the frame lock is that it in order to disengage the blade from its locked position, you have to, ever so temporarily, have your finger in line. The blade is released from its locking position, which we're determining to be safe. And now you have to release it, okay? And then now your finger is temporarily in the line of the blade. So that in itself had an inherent disadvantage when you're talking about complexity, when you talk about sophistication and sales. You know, it was a marketing sale. You know, the shock lock, as amazing as the shock lock is, right? You don't have to put your finger in the way, right? Frame lock, you have to put your finger in the way. So, um, lo and behold, 2025, you have stuff like this. They've been putting buttons on everything now. If you really think about the mechanisms out there, the original locks, and then adding a button to them adds a degree of sophistication to them, but also adds a large degree of safety also. This is the Remette Knives Meteor. It's a button frame lock front flipper, M390 steel. Very nice knife. Remette, if you don't know, China-based company, and they are absolutely phenomenal at making knives. Matter of fact, they're sort of like we knives, like in the sense of, they don't do anything bad. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those types of things. So let's just get into this knife. This isn't an 8, these are 6s. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the Meteor. It is a button frame lock. Amazing design. We'll talk about that initially here. So you have your traditional frame lock, right? Which is the mechanism, lock face, lock geometry interface here, where it locks up at the bottom, the tang of the blade, holding the blade in place. Lockup is amazing on this, by the way. And that's how they work. And up until now, you had to take your finger, push this over, and release the lock. Now they added a button to this mechanism, and it's basically very easy the way they did it. They just have a button that's literally goes through the show side of the knife all the way to the clip side of the knife, right, where the frame lock is, and attaches to the frame. So it just attaches from straight up here to the frame. So when you push this over, when you push the button over, in essence, all you're doing is pushing over the frame. Right? This is definitely not rocket science, but look how many years it took to to do it. Right? Right? A simple little modification like that. And you're talking about 50 years, right? Is my math right? Late 1980s. You know what I mean? Or somewhere around there. So 40, 50 years. So whatever. I mean, it's incredible that uh, the way in which they did it. So this is the Meteor. It is a drop point blade, M390 steel. It's a satin spear point. It's got two finishes here. I traditionally am not in love with knives with such a low center line. I usually like this center line to be higher. But I'm just, that's just my preference. But a blade with this type of shape does have very amazing utilitarian uses. The obvious one is the piercing geometry is amazing. And it also is a good slicer also. And as you can see too, if I'm going to start off with talking about some criticisms I have of the knife, which there are very few, I actually, this center line, um, if you see how it doesn't actually go to the peak, it's almost like it's in a weird spot. This is just aesthetically speaking, guys, being critical, right? Usually you'll have a swedge here, or this would go up in some way or be on the center line, so that's a little weird for me, but whatever. That's just a preference. Here. So jimping on this is definitely not my cup of tea. Um, but this was definitely a choice by this manufacturer because these guys, everything on this knife is very purposeful. They just chose to do their jimping like that. I mean, this is not a fly-by-night company. This is an amazing knife company, actually. So if they have jimping like this, it's not because they got lazy. It was a mistake. They meant to make, more traction-oriented jimping. No, that's what they wanted. Okay. And then we go down to the frame of the knife, the handle, if you will, which is probably, the most amazing part of this particular knife because it definitely houses the frame lock, the button actuated frame lock. You got a titanium frame, dark blasted titanium frame with silver twill inlays. Very nice. Transitions are good. They're not flawless, but they're they're very actually they are really good. Yeah, you can feel it, but it's more a texture difference than the actual transition. They do have T6s in the handle, which is not ideal, but at the same token, something as well made as this, whatever. They did their thing with this backspacer also. I love the backspacer on this. Really nice. And it definitely offers very good balance to the knife. The weight, you can definitely feel they wanted to weigh down the back of this knife. I don't see any liners in here. Let me see. Looks like it doesn't have liners. Can't be. Where's my flashlight? Hold on. Yeah, no, it doesn't. That's incredible. No, does it? I can't tell. No. It's pretty amazing. But I see. Oh, no, they screwed it right to the titanium. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, hey, listen. So these inlays have these screws that go through. They threaded the titanium inside. Really? It's, yeah. Wow. Yeah, no liners. What's the weight on this thing? It lists at 3.8 ounces, and it's a 7.5-inch knife, which my chart shows that also. Yeah, that's really interesting. They got the overstop here. It hits the line. It hits the twill carbon fiber inlays. It hits the inlay. It seems like, but there is an overstop travel right there connected. You see the two screws here, and it has a single-sided pivot with no provisions on the show side, which I absolutely love. can't stress enough how, like I keep saying, every modern knife should be designed like this. The show side, um, with provisions only on one side, single-sided provisions for the main pivot. Um, Action is very, very nice. Uh, it has the pivot assembly is ceramic ball bearings, and it feels like it feels extremely smooth. It's a brand new knife, and it just feels there's no break-in on this knife at all. It just feels completely. It just feels exactly how you want it. Perfectly centered blade. And I love these thumb studs. I'm not a huge fan of thumb studs all the time. Like I usually don't front flippers and thumb studs are usually my weak points when it comes to actuation. I'm usually more of a fuller slash deployment hole type of preference. But the thumb studs on this are just very good. They stick out far, but it doesn't look bad. It's not like they stick out too far. They stick out very utilitarian. I love the way they have the same diameter from the base of the knife all the way out. Like as opposed to something like this that has these, the traditional stepped um, thumb stud. I'm not criticizing Demco either. I'm just using this as an example. Yeah, but these are very, very nice. Yeah. And I'll tell you, man, the pocket clip, very nice. Titanium pocket clip. See, yeah. Yeah, really, 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 really nice. It only has one side tip up right carry only, as you can see. In order for it's only one screw back here, so you think like this might be reversible, but you can't reverse it because there's too much of a curve on this. You'd have to have a second clip that they could provide, and which sometimes manufacturers do that, but that's not the case here. So it admitted is definitely not as lefty friendly as I would like. Not that I'm a lefty, but respect to lefties. And so yeah, but at any rate, yeah. So for me, this is a very nice knife. Remette is a one of those extremely competent companies. If you go to their website, they have a lot of assistance on their website, a lot of links where you can get satisfaction if you have problems, and it's a very sophisticated website. So yeah, no, they're out there providing customer service also. I mean, I can't speak for it. Like I don't, this is my oh, and did I mention this is not mine? This knife is belongs to a buddy of mine who routinely buys knives, and I have to admit he buys some nice stuff. And so it's a loaner for the channel, and really, really nice. I will definitely be venturing into Remette, their products. I'm going to take a look at, some of their stuff, and definitely, I might even get one of these. So at any rate, yeah, really nice knife. If I was going to make an argument against something, I would say the T6s, but I would say the T6s. Really nice sharpening tool also. Just notice that. It's very far forward of the plunge grind, will not interfere with that at all. This is a very utilitarian knife. This is a nice knife, but a user. You can see they set this up not to be a safe queen. Get out and cut with that bad boy. Stop messing around. So anyway, yeah, that's a nice one, man. Real nice. That's the Remette Knives RT Meteor button frame lock front flipper with M390. I didn't say that either, right? I'm just all over the place with this interview because I'm so interview review. Sorry, guys. I'm actually very excited about this knife. So it's got a little lanyard thing in the back here. Yeah. So yeah, really nice. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks.